Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of the Sneak Preview, a Filmgazm Productions podcast that follows the current film calendar. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Caleb Leger.
And today we're covering 3 out of 7 of this weekend's releases, because frankly, we don't have the time and we don't have the will, because most of these were horribly received, and we just didn't want to put ourselves through that.
Yeah, I know I'm currently living a transient lifestyle, so I'm only going to go out so many times to see movies currently.
I understand. And I have a lot of time, but not nearly as much willpower to watch some of this shit. So some of this stuff we can just kind of, blow away and let it recede into the wind and never be heard from again.
Yeah, but, along with, the joke about my transient lifestyle, it's also like, we were talking about before we recorded, like, it'd be one thing if, let's say, of these 7 films, 5 of them we think stellar reviews, they're must-see movies, then yeah, I'd be a little more interested in being like, I can make time for like these 5 movies. But like, when it's like 7 films and most of them are getting horrendously reviewed, it's like, I get it, film's subjective, and I could easily like these films that everyone else is hating, but I wasn't really interested to begin with, and then I'm seeing the reviews, and I'm like, I can wait on this fucking movie. I don't need to see it this weekend.
Yeah, as long as we get at least one in the hole, we're good. And then I'll do some background prep if, there's some other stuff that's easily accessible and or well-reviewed and worth my time.
Yeah.
So our main focus will be The Night House. And then I'll talk a bit about The Protégé and Reminiscence. Due to time constraints and horrific reviews, we will not be covering Demonic, Flag Day, Annette, or Sweet Girl. There's simply too much out there. So, and we would frankly like to put our energy towards better stuff. We've done so many of these now, from January 1st to now, we've kept up with this show. And on the whole, it's not been a great year for films. There's been a lot more shit than there has been gems.
Yeah, and like I was telling you earlier, like it's like I'm hoping next year the release schedule is a lot better as far as like what they put, but I think a lot of it is like 2020, a lot of stuff got delayed to this year.
Yeah,
I think I would say roughly 90% of the films, I know some stuff still got released, but a very good chunk got pushed to this year. So it's like I feel like we're feeling a lot of that is the big thing. I think it's like a mixture of like that, and then Netflix's fucking quantity over quality belief. It's just making it a jam-packed year more than most. And I'm hoping 2022 kind of evens out a little bit, because I know like even with the whole Delta variant that's going around right now, I have not seen a lot of films get delayed. Because I think they're at a point where they really can't afford to push back again.
What bothers me more than anything is that, especially with Netflix, is we get maybe a week like between releases, like between trailer and release. We have no time to find out about these films. It's just like, hey, by the way, next week, Jason Momoa movie you had never heard of. Like, fuck, well, now I got to deal with that. So for my own sanity, I'm going to like cut my watch list in half going forward and just kind of try to focus on stuff that's getting well received or is easier to get.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, look, I'll be honest with you. Like, I only watched Night House this week. I was like, I can't. And
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I instead I found time to watch. Finally watched some Fulci movies. I was telling you I watched Beyond and City of Living Dead, and I actually literally today finished watching The New York Ripper. And I had way more fun watching those, and I probably would have do a good chunk of like these 7 films. I finally watched In Search of Darkness Part 2. Horror documentary on 80s horror, the second part to it, and I had more fun doing that than attempting to try to see the sea of what was not getting well received films this weekend, honestly, 100%.
Yeah, and another thing, and I know we're starting this out with a pretty negative rant, but I don't care. My show, goddammit. Anyway, I am so done with art films, like so done. And I'm done being tricked into watching an art film. That is done too. I'm vetting this shit a lot more heavily now. It's happened so many times where I end up, I'm watching a movie and I'm like, oh fuck, this has a message. This is a metaphor. Fuck. So yeah, I'm done with that. Not that I don't mind a movie with a message or the metaphor, but when it's heavy-handed and has no story around it, fuck that movie.
Are you seeing where I'm coming from now? Are you getting what I say when it comes to messages in film?
I'm not quite. I'm getting. I don't mind politics.
Are you getting there at least?
I'm getting there. Yes.
As far as like, I don't care about. I don't care if a movie has, the diversity aspect and the political message. I really don't care if it's not hitting me over the head with it. Like if there's still story and characters and stuff like that being told, I'm all down. I can watch. It's the moment that I'm just like, you're focusing on this a little bit more than your plot, a little bit more than your characters. But that's when I kind of start to turn away. So
let's put it this way. I am not looking forward to watching a 2.5 hour rock opera starring Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and the dude from The Big Bang Theory. I got a half hour in and said, fuck it. And I felt great. It felt great just saying no. Like I'm still a film junkie, but I'm only taking the good stuff now.
Yeah, 2020 has been like the year of like, do you really want to watch all this stuff? Because we didn't get put it out last year, so it's coming out this year. God, and I'm like, no, I don't want to watch all your goddamn shit you're coming out with. God. Because yeah, but at the same time, it's been an interesting year because it's like the year we're getting like Dune and Jackass Forever in the same goddamn weekend. And then the weekend before that, we're getting Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Halloween Kills. Like, what the
fuck? Yeah, see, all of that is stuff I know is going to entertain me. A little iffy on Dune, but we'll see. And Annette and The Night House and, A24's got Lamb coming out soon. Yeah, I'm going to probably just bail on that. I don't like this shit.
Yeah, I've been on the A24 train a long time ago. I liked them when they first came out, like The Witch and Hereditary. When I realized that they were doing the same shit still, and like you said to me, like their trailers are super deceiving, and they have been really bringing in that whole like new term I hate, but a fucking passion. It's right up there with the word suspense. Elevated, not suspense. I'm sorry, thriller. It's right up there with that. Elevated horror. Like, oh my fucking God.
And for those of you who listen to the show and are thinking, but Connor, you liked Pig. That was A24. Well, let me explain that. Pig was an A24 drama, but more so, that was a Nicolas Cage movie. And that man can cut through any genre like a goddamn Jinsu knife. So Cage comes first. I don't care what production company. I don't care if it's a musical. I don't care if it's a drama. I don't care if it's an art film. It's a Cage film first. So let that be known.
As soon as that man agrees to star in your movie, it's no longer your movie. It's Nicolas Cage's movie.
Yes. He could be in it for 2 seconds and have no lines. It belongs to him.
So Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yes. As Brad's bud, I believe.
Yeah, he literally just looks up and goes, shakes his head and then like looks back at his fucking baddies. Yeah, no, speaking of which, dude, I am so pumped for that new Cage film, Prisoners of the Ghostland. Oh my.
Oh yeah. Austin was doing the episode where we talked about that trailer, wasn't he? So you didn't get to talk about that.
No. Right. Oh yeah. I know you mentioned me when you said like, because I sent you that text. I'm really excited. Like, dude, I'm so pumped. Like the plot, Cage, Mosley, the trailer. I'm so fucking in on that movie. And
go ahead.
Sorry, and the fact that Cage has said that this is his craziest film he's ever done, I'm like, I'll say it. I'm about to cream my pants on this fucking movie. This is like ultimate Cage. I feel like we're getting right now.
I mean, if you look at the grand scope of his career, the insane shit he has been a part of and responsible for most of the time, this is the peak. This is the craziest thing he's ever done. Not Mandy, not Color Out of Space. This. So buckle the fuck up. This is going to be something special.
Yeah, oh god, I can't. Oh, I can't wait. Can't fucking wait.
Well, with that, let's take a look at what happened last week in film.
Last week in film.
First up, 2 trailers to discuss. The first, Joe Carnahan's Cop Shop, starring Gerard Butler as a hitman who is hot on the trail of a con artist played by Frank Grillo. Comes out September 17th. And Joe Carnahan has a pretty great track record. And Frank Grillo has just endeared himself to me over the past couple of years. And I'm warming up to Gerard Butler. I'm not a huge fan, but I've enjoyed more than I've hated. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This looks entertaining at the very least.
Yeah. Like I said, Carnahan's track record is pretty awesome. Actually, today's very sensitive, if you will, culture. The fact that he kind of keeps making these like really macho, like action films, I gotta give him credit for being able to still make these. Grant, I know he doesn't really put anything like super like offensive or risque that I've seen, at least, in his movies, but the fact that he can still make these, it feels very like he's really, to me, he brings like an 80s action style and flavoring to his films I appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Frank Grillo, since I think I want to say Captain America, the Winter Soldier, has really kind of come into his own. Like I liked him in the 2 Purge movies he did. And I recently watched Boss Level and he was awesome in that. And then Gerard Butler, yeah, like he's not my favorite actor, but I think when he gets the right part, especially if it's like something like action, something like this, he really excels. I saw him recently in Den of Thieves, and he was really, really good in that. Really good movie, actually. So I'm excited for this one.
And I think the other hitman was the goofy dad in Halloween 2018, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so. I thought it was someone else. But then I was like, wait, is that who I think? And then it wasn't. But now that it's been a while since I've seen the trailer, so I can't remember who the fuck flashed through my head, but I just remember being like, is that? And then it wasn't, but
I saw the trailer earlier today when I went and saw The Protégé. So it's pretty fresh for me. I also saw the trailer for a documentary I keep seeing the trailer for called The Jesus Music. That's about the history of Christian music. So fuck that. No, I don't care at all.
Maybe a documentary on like all those Christian like metal bands. I was just so like, we don't do Christian music.
Christian metal, Christian rock, Christian country, Christian rap, everything. It's all about Christian music and how much it means to the fabric of America. And to me, it means dick. So I'm not seeing it.
I always think of South Park when Cartman started the Christian band.
Faith Plus One.
Yeah. Butters farts in him at the end.
It was the dad in Halloween 2018, so he is in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he has to do something else because Michael Myers killed his character. So,
and nobody seemed to care. You notice that?
Yeah, no one cared. They established what looked to be a very good family household, and then like the dad dies and no one blinks an eye.
And you're a peep from like Judy Greer or the daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis. No one said anything about Ray. He got choked out by Michael Myers in the front yard. No one said anything.
Yeah, because as soon as like his daughter goes low, she just does that fucking line I hate. Grandmama, where are you?
I've started calling my own grandma, just out of like habit because of that movie.
I love Halloween 2018. Hint, look forward to possible. We'll talk about that later down the line. But goddamn, I hate that line of dialogue so much in that movie. Dear Lord, Grandmama.
There's one thing I'm looking forward to for Halloween Kills. It's to see that douchey boyfriend get it. Because the guy who threw her phone into the pudding and is like, "You gonna get that?" Like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing Michael fuck that kid up.
Yeah, dude, I'm just looking forward to that new one. I love how like people are like, dude, the trailer ruined so many kills, and they had to be like, you're only seeing like 1% of the movie. Apparently, like the rumor going around is that this new one has like an insane body count.
I believe that. I mean, the trailer alone had a higher body count than the first movie.
Yeah, because when they're hyping up to be like it's like the town versus Michael, like they've had enough. They're going after him now.
I love that idea. That is so cool to see Michael like kind of on the run. Is a great concept. This is going to be fucking neat.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
And then that bit of score that Carpenter released on YouTube a couple days ago, like a little different than the normal Halloween score, like a little more charged, almost like, Michael running for his life almost.
Yeah, well, you kind of get that in the trailer. Because remember in the trailer, he played a little bit of the theme, and it was a lot more sped up and quicker. And it really kind of highlights like this isn't the same Halloween. Like this is now you've had kind of like the template Halloween for 2018, but now you're getting like a new type of one with Halloween Kills.
I just this is stupid, but I don't fucking care. I recently watched The Fugitive, just for kicks. Love that movie, and I'm just picturing like they call in Tommy Lee Jones to like hunt him down. He's like, "Our suspect is Michael Myers. Go get him!" Like just confronting him at a waterfall, and Michael like takes off his mask, and he's just like, "I didn't kill my wife." He's like, "What are you talking about? You killed hundreds of teenagers." I don't know. I think it's stupid shit sometimes.
Or have like that deeply thoughtful Tommy Lee Jones from the Coen Brothers movie.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, wow, I'm making hard tonight. It's a long day, I guess. But yeah, have that one hunting him down. He just keeps going on weird tangents throughout the movie.
I want to see Tommy Lee Jones fight Michael Myers. I want that very much. I'll never get it, but I want it.
Oh, we'll never get it. He's probably too much of a grumpy pants, and agree to that.
3 Men in Black movies, but 1 Halloween movie. That's too much. Fuck it.
I thought even then they had to like really convince him to do the 3rd Men in Black.
You ever watch the outtakes of those movies?
No.
He and Will Smith got along very well, which I never would have thought. Like they'll screw up. Like Will Smith made Tommy Lee Jones break character, like and laugh. That's amazing.
So Tommy Lee Jones, that man's notoriously grumpy.
Yeah, like there was some outtakes in the first film, or it might have been the second film, and Will Smith says something, and Tommy Lee Jones just goes like, "Ha!" and completely like loses character, and they have to reset. It was so weird.
Oh yeah, Will Smith.
Oh, well, anyway, Cop Shop, September 17th.
Looks good.
Yeah. Next up, the second trailer for Marvel's Eternals, which features an all-star cast, including Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington, Kumail Nanjiani, and many more. Directed and co-written by Oscar winner Chloe Zhao, this appears to be a massive game changer for Marvel. Hits theaters November 5th. This is a pretty ethereal, weird film that like nobody really knows anything about. It's cool that Marvel can experiment like that now. But I think this looks neat. I'm excited to see the Celestials in action. That's going to be wild. But I'm still very unclear about what this is.
I will say like the teaser trailer didn't really sell me. I remember watching it just being like, okay, I'm not really sold on this movie though, Marvel. This one sold me a little bit more. It definitely had a little bit more of like okay, I kind of want to see what this is all about. But yeah, I don't like it. It looks like, it's going to be a game changer. It looks like they're going to be doing multiverse stuff in this one. That's what I was kind of getting. That again, that whole Loki ending really seemed to affect something here. So I did appreciate how they kind of explained why they were never involved in anything up to this point. I did like that little throwaway line in the trailer to at least be like, no, we understand. Like we have these people that you would think would get involved, but this is why they didn't.
Yep. If the deviants aren't involved, they're not involved.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I'm curious on like what this will, its place in the MCU currently, what it will lead to. Like this trailer really made me a lot more curious about a lot more willing to see it.
Like down the road, I don't see these guys helping fight Kang the Conqueror with like Shang-Chi and Blade. Like, I just don't see these guys as Avengers.
No, and not even just because like the characters, but also because the actors. Like, I don't see them keeping Angelina Jolie around for a long time.
Yeah, especially like Kit Harington, who just got out of the Game of Thrones commitment to then latch on to another like 10-year commitment.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening. I can see him keeping someone like Kumail Nanjiani. I can see him staying for sure.
Yeah. And Richard Madden, I can see him staying too.
Yeah, I can see him being like, I'll stay. But he also, if you notice, I got the feeling he's like the main character in this trailer.
I think he's the leader, I think. But then again, I don't know anything about the Eternals.
I'm only saying it because he was pretty much in the trailer the most for this one. So I was like, okay, so I'm assuming he's the one we're following. Like, he's the main guy.
I think
so. Yeah, I'm curious. I know they were going on about like the look of this film a long time ago and how this is like their most down to earth looking film with like the way and they approach like how they light and do the cinematography for this film a lot different than prior Marvel movies. And seeing this trailer, I got that. It does not look like a lot of the other Marvel films that come out. There's a very weird, like grounded look to it that I kind of appreciate. Like, it's like Marvel again really being willing to embrace and experiment a lot more nowadays, which I do appreciate a lot.
Well, a lot of that comes from Chloe Zhao, who I don't know if you got a chance to see Nomadland.
I haven't. I've been hearing a lot about it, and I might check it out before I go see the Eternals. Actually,
yeah, you should, because it's that's what Chloe Zhao won an Oscar for that film. It won Best Picture, but also that film is built on cinematography. And the look of that film is very similar to the look of Eternals, like at the very building block level. So I think she's very good at building a world. So I'm interested to see what she does with this.
Yeah, like I said, I would probably say between like Shang-Chi. Sorry about that. I've been saying it like Shang-Chi for so long until they finally confirmed how to say it. It's just natural now. So between Shang-Chi, this Eternals, and Spider-Man coming up, I'm probably the most intrigued by Eternals, if that makes sense. Like, I'm really excited for Shang-Chi and to see them rectify the fucking the Mandarin, because God knows that's long overdue. I'm obviously very, very excited for what Spider-Man will be bringing with the multiverse stuff and all that good stuff. But like, as far as intrigued of what it is, Eternals is like, for me, the most intriguing one.
Yeah, I get that. We know what to expect with Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. Well, I think we aren't going to be able to call pretty much any of it. It's going to be exciting. Eternals is up in the air. We don't know anything about it, but it has I think the most potential.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like it's kind of like when Guardians, like the first Guardians came out, and like everyone thought that was going to flop, and it was kind of like, what is this compared to the rest of Marvel? You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's like to that level, obviously, but it's definitely there. And that like, what is this compared to what the rest of Marvel's given us?
Yeah, I get it. Continuing with Marvel, Ben Kingsley and Tim Roth are confirmed to be part of the cast of Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, reprising their MCU roles as Trevor Slattery and Abomination, respectively, which means I personally think that real Mandarin is going to fucking execute fake Mandarin for the audience.
Yes. I am, again, I'm kind of actually like with that trailer that showed Abomination. I'm kind of mad. Like, Marvel, I don't know if like they have more stuff in store for us. I'm like, stop. Like, it would have been way cooler had I not known Ben Kingsley was going to pop up in Shang-Chi in like 2 fucking weeks.
I know. It's amazing they're keeping anything a secret with Spider-Man, considering Marvel, like, they don't really do that anymore. They kind of just we know everyone going in most of the time. And I do wish that we wouldn't. Like, I wish they hadn't told us Alfred Molina was coming back in Spider-Man. Because just to have that moment of like, holy shit, it's Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Oh my God. Yeah. To have that moment would have been really cool. I mean, I'm still going to have that moment, but to have that moment without any prior knowledge would be so much better. And then to see just them, like, the real Mandarin wheel out Trevor Slattery in a cage and just like light him on fire or something would would be pretty damn satisfying.
Yeah, like I said, it's cool to know it and get it confirmed. But yeah, I've been just fine not knowing because I actually wasn't even thinking about it. And yeah, it's almost amazing. Like somehow they're keeping a better rap on Spider-Man, which Tom Holland has been notorious for spilling the beans. They're keeping a better rap on that right now than Shang-Chi. And this is the thing, Marvel's doing it with Shang-Chi. Like it's not like it by accident. Marvel's one that's like, oh yeah, Abomination's in it, and we're bringing back Ben Kingsley. I'm like, Marvel, shut the fuck up. Like,
Oh boy.
What is it with Shang-Chi that you guys are trying to fucking prove?
Moving on to more Marvel. Dominique Thorne has been cast in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever as young scientist Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, who is slated to get her own Disney Plus series titled Ironheart sometime in the near future. So they're introducing this character in Black Panther 2. And I don't know anything about Ironheart. I read up on her. She's a young girl who's a brilliant scientist who manages to build her own Tony Stark style armor.
Mm-hmm.
I guess something to do with Wakanda now. So we'll see.
Yeah, this one I was actually not mad about. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because like I said, we know the show's coming out, so it was a matter of time before they cast someone for it. Cool that she's going. They somehow the storyline will introduce her in Black Panther 2. But yeah, like you, man, like it's getting to a point with the MCU where like they're using a lot of characters I'm not familiar with. Like unless it's bringing Blade back or the upcoming. Whenever X-Men and Fantastic Four come out, well, Fantastic Four is all but confirmed to be the end of this phase. Marvel just hasn't said anything yet. But besides these characters we are bringing back that we haven't seen in a while, like we're entering territory of like characters I don't know much about. I mean, between Ironheart, the Eternals, Shang-Chi, it's a lot of characters that I don't know about. And I brought it up actually with my review on Night House. For every like sequel, and I applied it to horror there, but I'll apply it to anything. For every sequel or like something that's connected to a known franchise I get excited for, I get more excited for something I don't know, something fresh. And I mean, obviously I know Shang-Chi, Eternals are connected to the Marvel Comics, and Ironheart, but like I don't know much about those, so a part of me is almost more excited for it because I'm like, well, I don't know much about this, so there's a mystery that I'm curious on.
Yeah, I get you. Marvel has shown so many times that they are so good at adapting their own characters, giving us so many incredible movies and now so many cool TV shows that I'm pretty much just willing to give them endless carte blanche to just impress me. I know I'm gonna like it every time. So
Yeah,
bring it on.
Honestly, I always still like. I think some of my more least favorite movies are from their early years. Honestly, as time's gone on, like their new stuff just almost consistently hits for me. I think the only newest one I was like lukewarm on was Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
I think that was the only one recently I was lukewarm on. Besides that, those guys, Marvel, MCU. It's not the DCU. They actually get their shit right.
Speaking of the DCEU,
Oh, God damn it.
Journey Smollett will be returning to the role of Black Canary for her own solo spinoff from Birds of Prey. Lovecraft Country showrunner Misha Green will be heavily involved as either writer or director. So Black Canary is getting her own movie.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. The latest to be promised their own movie. I'm starting to think it's a fucking pyramid scheme. Like you get a movie and then you get two friends to give you a movie. Like just...
Dude, I'm like you, man. I've learned with the DCU, unless there's a release date and they're filming, I have no faith when they just announce something.
Dude, even when there's a release date and filming, I wait till there's a trailer before I give any like thought to it. I'm like, I want to see footage or this isn't real.
God, it's like, I will say they seem to be slowly getting better with what they tell us is coming out. Like, I know the current guy in charge of this, because they've gone through like 3 or 4 people because they can't figure out what the fuck they want to do. Well, WB, not the DC people. He seems to be doing good about sticking to what he says is coming out. I know like they're doing that thing where like I think they want to do like 2 theatrical release films a year, then 2 more that go to HBO Max because they're riskier. It's safer that way. And that seems to be staying true. I know they finally casted Batgirl after fucking years of promising us that movie. So hopefully this continues the trend of them actually sticking what they say. But goddamn, I don't have faith until I see a goddamn release date and that they're filming.
Honestly, I'm, let's say, 60% sure that they might just go ahead and fucking shelve Black Adam just for the hell of it. They would. They're like, well, we're not sure. Next up, there's a biopic in the works that'll be telling the story of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry. Adam Mazur, who wrote the TV movie You Don't Know Jack, which told the story of Dr. Jack Kevorkian, has already written a script. So they're making Gene Roddenberry's story. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, good. I mean, obviously the guys who have a huge influence on pop culture with Star Trek, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Bet they're going to call it Gene.
Yeah. No, they're going to go with some fucking Star Trek title, I bet.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, it's going to be... I wouldn't be surprised. There's going to be something like... There's going to be some kind of fucking Star Trek pun. You know it is. Like the Final Frontier or some shit like that.
That's not bad.
The Wrath of Gene.
The Wrath of Gene. Apparently, yeah, there were moments where he was like, this is not Star Trek-y enough. So he did have a bit of a wrath. I like biopics, so bring it on.
Hey, dude, I like it more when we do stuff I'm actually interested in. Like, I'd watch this one. I like Star Trek. I can sit there. I know you can't too. Can say that, like, you don't need to live in a world where it's Star Trek or Star Wars. You can like fucking both. I like fucking both.
I can be a Vulcan with a fucking lightsaber, and no one can do a goddamn thing about it.
Like, if
Live long and may the force be with you.
If Free Guy can do Captain America's shield and a lightsaber, I think it's okay, guys.
What the shit?
That was so... I was not expecting that. I'm so glad. See, again, keeping things close to the chest and not fucking telling me. I was so glad that it wasn't like put out by anyone, because when that got to that scene, I died. The whole theater, including myself, died. And he goes, "What the shit?" And they start playing song.
Nothing made me laugh harder than "dude."
Catchphrase.
Friendly gesture. That was such a great idea.
Is it becoming a thing for Ryan Reynolds to play like the main character and then some offshoot character? Because he did it with Deadpool 2 also, remember?
Yeah. Maybe. He's good at it.
He's good at it.
Oh, boy. Ending on some sad news. Martial arts movie veteran Sonny Chiba has passed away at 82 years old following a battle with COVID-19. Chiba was known mostly for his role as master swordmaker Hattori Hanzo in Kill Bill, as well as his role as mercenary karate master Terry in the Street Fighter films. He had over 200 acting credits when he died, and his legacy speaks for itself. This sucked. I did not like seeing this. Fucking Sonny Chiba. I loved Sonny Chiba.
Yeah, I saw the group text, but I usually try to save my thoughts from if I know I'm gonna be on this sneak preview.
Yeah.
To say it. And yeah, dude, this is a loss. I mean, I'm a big fan of martial arts films. The guy was a master, a legend when it came to that fucking legend. And you know, like, this is, I'm not going to use this as a PSA about COVID, which, you know what, I will say this should be, if anyone's on the fence, go get the fucking vaccine, because it took out a goddamn martial arts legend. Yeah, I mean, Kill Bill alone, like that little scene he had in Kill Bill was fucking beautiful. Yeah, this was devastating to hear.
Not 2 weeks ago, I was at the local DVD exchange store, and I picked up a copy of the Street Fighter. Just because I was like, I heard my dad loves that movie, said it's like one of the best martial arts movies of all time. And I thought, yeah, like, why not? $7. And now I'm like, I'm really glad I bought that, because now I can experience the Street Fighter and give this guy his due props.
Exactly. I mean, you can look at the martial art film, landscape, and like what, Bruce Lee gets like most of the talk, right? Like you're always hearing about him, but Sonny Chiba laid the groundwork for Bruce Lee, for Jet Li, and for all these other guys that we have now, Donnie Yen, and the guys in the raid, right? Like, I mean, all the way to now, like he laid the groundwork for that, and what we have now with it. Like, he was the guy.
Well, Sonny Chiba was, Bruce Lee was, very almost like it was like an equation the way he fought. It was so precise. Whereas Sonny Chiba was a fucking brawler. Like he attacked, and just, he had his own legacy separate from, I'm sure all these guys had to measure up to Bruce Lee. But I think Sonny Chiba existed in his own world where he had his own way of doing things, and he built up his own legacy. And that's fucking awesome. And yeah, to me, he'll always be a Tori Hanzo. And this really was a fucking bummer. I'm really gonna miss him.
Yeah, Hattori Hanzo was actually my intro to Sonny Chiba. I was like, I remember when I saw that, and I was like, oh, who's this guy? And I looked it up, and that's how I learned about him. Thanks to Tarantino, that's how I learned about him. Was like, I looked him up, and was like, wow, I didn't realize like the credits and the legacy and just the fucking like what he left behind. I mean, like I said, we lost a legend. We didn't just lose a martial arts expert. We didn't just lose a prolific actor. We lost a legend. That's always hard to me more than anything. Like, death is hard in general when we lose these people, but when you lose a legend like him, or like when Wes Craven died, that to me, that was a legend. We lost a legend. Then, it's the same thing here.
Oscars Committee 2022, the Academy. Don't fucking leave out Sonny Chiba when you do the in memoriam. Remember him. Like, I fucking hate when they just like they leave out a lot of niche guys, and that always bugs me.
Oh, they do it all the time. If it's like some really niche comedian or like horror directors really get the brunt of it. Martial arts guys, like, they just always fucking forget about it. I think if I recall correctly, they didn't even honor Wes Craven when he passed. I think they forgot about him. Surprisingly, I can't remember.
That I hope that's not true. That fucking sucks. So before we get into the Night House, I'd like to talk a bit about the other two films I watched this weekend, starting with Reminiscence. Oh boy. Okay. So I've seen a little over 80 of this year's releases. And I think I can say honestly that Reminiscence is the worst film I've seen this year. This movie,
the worst.
The worst. This was boring as shit. It's impossible to follow. It's Inception meets Chinatown, which is a combination nobody asked for. It's written and directed by one of the co-creators of Westworld, so it definitely rips off and feels like a bad Westworld episode the entire time. Hugh Jackman does a decent job, but really there's not much to his character. It's just obsession. The film introduces a really cool idea of a post-apocalyptic city where like massive floods split the society into the poor who are living in the wetlands and the rich who are living in like the dry, like high rises. And there's this tension brewing the entire time, and there's revolutions on this rise. But that is mentioned maybe one or two times. It's never brought on, never like dug into. It's ignored. But it's the most interesting part of this world. Instead, we're just watching Hugh Jackman try to find this woman who conned him. It's the whole movie. And there's also a kidnapping plot and a murder plot. By then, I was so checked out. I didn't know what was going on. It was terrible. I gave it a 4. Terrible.
The trailers didn't look too good to me. I haven't seen Westworld yet, so I remember when that popped up, I'm like, all right, cool. I haven't seen your show yet. And then with the cast, like, I like Hugh Jackman a lot, but this one looked like he was really stretching himself in this movie. I like Rebecca Ferguson a lot, both performance and looks wise, and it definitely looked like they made her look, she's the femme fatale in this film it looked like, but it didn't look like it was offering much outside of that for her. Like, compared to like, what I got with her in the Mission Impossible film she's been in, and Doctor Sleep, which I really liked her in. This didn't look like it was doing much for her. So like nothing in this trailer. I remember the trailer, nothing really spoke out to me that made me go, I can't wait to see this movie. I like the little score they had for the trailer, and that was about it.
That's a song called Save My Love by Loner, and it plays in the end credits, and I downloaded it. It's actually the one thing I really liked from the movie.
I'll say I did like that, the use of it in the trailer, especially when they were doing like the action scenes in the trailer, and they were timing it with the song. I'm a sucker for that though.
So. Oh yeah, no action scenes in the movie, by the way, apart from that one little brief tussle on the rooftop. It's a drama.
Okay, yeah, I'm not rushing to see this. Look, I may think Rebecca. Look, it's like a token. I can fully admit if an actress is hot and I think Rebecca Ferguson's hot, it's not going to make me rush to see the movie though. I need more. I need substance.
Oh, interesting.
I need. Oh, okay.
It's not enough that this actress is hot. I need substance. just ironic.
I have to say that because for years, like I think it was like my mom should be like, "You only want to watch that because she saw it." I'm like, no, because it looks good. It's just hopeful that the actress isn't. I do think it's attractive. It's like, look, if their movie looks like shit, I don't care how good looking the people are in it. I'm not rushing out to see it.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Westworld. The first season was stellar, super cool, super engaging, really creative. Anthony Hopkins and Ed Harris were at their best that they've been in years. Season 2, complete fucking train wreck. Like horribly confusing, multiple timelines happening at once, but only this time it didn't make sense. And it was just so unnecessarily complex that it completely threw me off, and I haven't even bothered to watch the 3rd season yet.
I hear that from a lot of people that have watched the show though. Like I remember when the first season was coming out, I was like supposed to be, HBO's next big thing. I remember the first season was like carrying that. I was hearing about all the time. People were like, "Oh, you gotta watch Westworld," and then like season 2 came out, and like I heard nothing about Westworld since then. Like no one was trying. It wasn't like Game of Thrones when like for season after season, you and a whole bunch of people were like, "Dude, you gotta watch Game of Thrones." Like seasons went by while I kept getting told that. Not Westworld. Like that first season, yeah, but then like season 2 came out and everyone just shut up. I went,
yeah, didn't help that there was like a 3-year gap between the 2 and 3, and now like I haven't heard anything about a season 4. Like nobody cares anymore. Westworld pretty much went away.
Dude, HBO is really trying to chase like that Game of Thrones success, and it's just not happening.
No, it's not. And I know they're banking on this on the spinoffs now, but I doubt that's ever going to make it to series.
I honestly think Game of Thrones was the last major hit in traditional sense of the term for HBO as a TV channel.
Damn, you might be right. You might be right.
That's not me trying to be like nihilistic or anything. I just think with like streaming and all that stuff, I just don't see them having another hit like that. I could be absolutely wrong, and by all means, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it.
Yeah. So I don't recommend Reminiscence. It's on HBO Max right now if you want to watch it. I gave it a 4, lowest score I think I've given any new release film this year, and it's a complete waste of time. Bummer.
Not rushing out to see it, even with the cast attached to it. Got it.
Next up, The Protégé, which ironically is the film I was expecting to suck the hardest this weekend.
And it's funny because I saw your review and I've seen the other reviews for this movie and they have not been kind.
Yeah, it's sitting at like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. People are pretty much condemning it. I disagree. To me, and if you listen to this show specifically, you've heard us talk about the wrong way to make a female-led action movie that we've kept seeing, where it's like, there's a tongue-in-cheek thing. There's always got to be a scene of like, see, women can kick ass too. And The Protégé didn't have that. The Protégé treated all of their characters like characters, and her gender didn't matter. It was about the story. And I appreciated that. I thought Maggie Q's performance was a little wooden at times, but Michael Keaton saved it. That dude rocks. I love Michael Keaton.
Sure,
And,
so
yeah. It was a little predictable at times. Basically, her mentor is killed. She goes after the guys responsible for it. They keep underestimating her. Michael Keaton is the hitman who works for the big bad guy. And he is kind of has a thing for her and is constantly trying to like have her back, but also make sure this mission goes in his favor. So it's kind of like an anti-hero approach to this guy. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. I wasn't, fuming. I was more just like, all right, this is entertaining. Pretty mindless, but it was good. I gave it an 8. I think The Protégé is worth checking out. Currently only available in theaters. But you could go see it or you could wait. It's whatever. It's I thought it was decent, but you might hate it.
I'll wait for a DVD on this one. I'm still kind of iffy just because the trailer made it look like a John Wick clone. And like I said, we've gotten so many of these female assassin movies of like being the same thing. I mean, we're literally getting another one next month from Netflix. Again, from Netflix. So it's like, I'll check it out. I'll see if, I might think it the same way you think of it, but the trailer didn't sell me.
It's not a John Wick clone, but there is a scene where she has a bullet in her side and she's like walking through the rain trying to find a place to stop and heal, which was in John Wick. So,
is it weird that like we go a year now, like 2020, all of this year without a John Wick movie, because we're not getting a new one until next year. And it's like there's like 3 or 4 fucking advertised clone like ones coming out. It's like they can't live like, oh wait, we don't have a John Wick movie. We need to get the next best thing.
It's like a power vacuum being filled.
Yeah. Oh God. Next year we'll be at peace with that vacuum. John Wick 4 is supposed to come out, and that cast is stellar.
Yeah, that's gonna rock. As I said before, I watched 30 minutes of Annette just to get a taste, and I was not a fan. Did not enjoy that flavor. So I'm gonna actively start avoiding art films. They're everywhere. They're annoying, and I'm done. I'm not trying anymore. If I find out it's an art film, I'm saying, just say no.
Yeah, art films not my cup of tea. All the power to Austin for loving them, watching them. All the power to you, bud. I'm glad you enjoy them, but just not my cup of tea usually. So,
yeah, mine either. I despise them. In fact. So, The Night House, our big one for the week, because we didn't watch the rest of these films.
I watched this film, so
yeah. The Night House was directed by David Bruckner, who was no stranger to the horror genre. He also directed The Ritual, segments in the anthology films Southbound and VHS, and he's slated to helm the upcoming Hellraiser remake. And I know you praised the direction in this movie.
Yeah. He's slated to be involved with VHS 94. He is involved as well. I still like Bruckner, even with my feelings of like this particular film. I still like Bruckner. I like his stuff in the VHS series. I'm very excited for what he has to do with VHS 94. I love The Ritual. I don't know if you've seen that one yet. Highly recommend that movie. That one was really good. It goes places you don't really expect, and it keeps you on your toes throughout. And there's a creature design that they do practical that's just fucking out of this world, insanely amazing. I have a lot of praise for The Ritual. Really, really like that movie.
So speaking of creature design, real quick, when I saw the Night House, the movies, I finally saw the trailer for Antlers again.
Yes, I got so excited. I think I was the only one in the theater that got excited. So I was like, oh my God, finally.
And that thing, like just a little bit you see, that movie's going to give me fucking nightmares. I know it.
It's like, again, like I said, right? Like, now going back to like the horror side of things, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I look forward to like the Candymans and the Halloweens that are coming out because there's familiar properties. These new ones look awesome, but I'm always championing like when these more like fresh, more original stuff comes out, like with the when we're talking about with the Night House and now the upcoming Antlers, because it's something I haven't seen, even if it's like just a different take on a real one subgenre. It's still something different. So yeah, Antlers. I love creature features. I love that they're going practical. It looks like it's going to be gory as fuck. God, I cannot wait. I mean, you got Del Toro producing. You got the director's a really good director. I can't wait. Carrie Russell starring. Like, yeah, I can't tell. I'm really fucking excited for Antlers, and I'm so happy to see that trailer.
Yeah, same here. I just wanted, as a little aside, I was like, yeah, we got to mention that. So.
Yeah. Sorry. Whew. Okay. Really can't wait. But yeah, Bruckner, I really like his prior stuff. And there was direction wise a lot of stuff I really liked here in the Night House. He really showed a good command when it came to like the scares of knowing how to really build suspense. Like during the actual scare scenes, I would defend like he kept the pressure on that suspense so tight and in control. And so he was ready to pop it. And, regardless of how I kind of feel about other aspects of the movie, that part I thought was handled really well with the scares, big time. And that had a lot to me to do with him.
I'm with you, man. The direction in this film is pretty good. There are some moments that are insanely creepy. That I wish had been expanded on and been kind of the bulk of the film. But I think this film leans way too heavily into drama. And that can work sometimes. I'm tired of seeing it. I feel like most horror movies these days are trying to like convey some message or something. Like they're trying to be dramas. And I want just an old fashioned, haunted house movie. Is that so much to ask for?
We'll get it when Insidious fucking 5 comes out with Patrick Wilson directing. I wish I was making all that up. That's all confirmed.
Fucking hell.
That's like all confirmed. Everything I told you was the truth.
Well, like Insidious got shitty. Conjuring got shitty. Like, give me something good, please.
Antlers. We got Antlers coming out.
I want Antlers. But I don't want that trailer, and I don't want that ending up being some kind of like, anti-deforestation message.
I don't think that with Del Toro producing, and he's definitely going to be reining in Scott Cooper. I think that's going to be a creature feature. Knowing Del Toro and what he likes with movies, that is going to be a creature feature through and through.
Okay, you're right. I trust Del Toro. I do.
Yeah. I remember Del Toro's. Scott Cooper's directing, but Del Toro is producing.
He's the money. He says what happened.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping, because this one I feel was a lot of wasted potential and a misleading trailer.
Yeah, this one to me, and like I was telling you, like I was on board. Like I was okay with like the theme of grief, just because of like I said, the scare scenes were handled well, and I thought Rebecca Hall was wonderful. That I was more like down with the theme of grief and the story that was being told. It's when we got to the ending, man, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but that ending that was when I kind of started checking out and went, wait, what?
Yeah. There's a lot of cool ideas presented here, a lot of different directions this thing could go in. And I think the road it took was not the most intriguing one. A lot of different ideas are introduced here, possibly a cult, possibly a serial killer, possibly a serial killer's ghost. But in the end, we end up with like basically Final Destination.
Yeah, I actually like Final Destination more.
At least they're fun. God damn it.
Oh yeah, they are fun. Hopefully the announced reboot that's supposed to be happening, it stays fun. Or the fuck that comes out. Like many things before it was announced, I've heard nothing since.
Them's the breaks.
Yeah.
Rebecca Hall stars as Beth, a grieving widow. Hall was also in The Prestige, The Town, Iron Man 3, Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, The Gift, and Godzilla versus Kong, just to name a few. She's in so many high-profile stuff, but a lot of people don't know who she is, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think if I remember, she's incredibly underrated in my opinion because she's an amazing actress. I've always liked her since I saw this little horror film she was in called The Awakening. I forgot what year it came out. I remember watching it on Netflix and being like, "Oh, she's really good. I like this actress." And yeah, she's constantly just been great in anything she's been in. And again, she is wonderful in this movie. She's we were talking about before the show. She's when I think of the Oscars needing to expand outside the little months. This would be a movie I argue because I'd argue that at the very least, I think she deserves a nomination for this movie. She does wonderful in what's essentially like her show. You know what I mean? Like this is her carrying this entire movie.
I could see, in a just world, a Best Actress nomination. I could see that happening. I think also, like, if the Oscars were to consider this film, I'd maybe shoot it a nomination for production design.
Yeah.
Production. Yeah.
And sound. Sound was spectacular in this fucking movie.
Yeah, definitely. Hall won me over when I saw The Gift for the first time. That was the movie where I was like, she's good.
Dude,
and
oh my God, I love that movie.
That movie's so fucking eerie. It's like the whole movie is a calm before the storm. It's like you never get the storm, but you know that with or without you, there's gonna be a fucking storm.
Yeah. Oh God, that ending is one of the most haunting endings, man, because you don't know.
That moment where he just takes the cast off and like throws it away. Like that movie is underrated as fuck. I love that movie.
Oh, dude, that's one of those. That's kind of like the raid. I try to get anyone that has something like, dude, you have to watch The Gift. It's such a good fucking movie.
My favorite scene in The Night House with Rebecca Hall was when the Karen shows up wanting the grade change for her son, and Rebecca Hall is just like, I buried my suicidal husband last week. You want an A? Here you go. And she's like, no, a B is fine. Like just shutting that shit down was so satisfying.
Yeah, especially because she pulled that we all have personal matters, and then she just looks and goes, "My husband killed himself."
It's like, I really don't give a shit what you want here.
What you came in here? You want a B? He has a B. It's fine. Oh, you want an A? I'll give you an A then. No, a B is fine. B it is.
She's just like, I'm sorry for your loss, and then leaves. Just makes her look like such a horrible person. That was
she was.
Yeah, she was. As you know, I'm studying to become a teacher right now, and I can tell you one thing: I'm gonna have zero patience for that shit.
Dude, like as soon as soon as she came, I was like, oh God, it's one of those parents. I was like, oh dear God. Especially when she pulled the all first miles. I'm like, usually in my experience, bitch, when someone says they had personal matters, that means it's something they don't want to talk about. It's usually death or God knows what else. You know what I mean? Like it's not something they're trying to say out loud. So maybe not throw that in their face.
It's personal.
Yeah. Because guess what? I know if I'm dealing with personal matters and something I don't care to like say, I won't. I'll just leave that personal matters. But something I care less. I'm like, oh yeah, I had to go take care of this. Sorry.
Yeah, personal matters isn't like my car's in the shop. That's my husband's dead. Ugh. And even then, your kid didn't do the damn assignment, so it's on you. It's on the kid.
Yeah, it's not on the teacher. The kid didn't do an assignment, and Jesus. Yeah, no, Rebecca had a lot of great moments in this movie. One of my other favorite moments was when she went to go confront that lady at the bookstore.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, blew his head off. The way she's so upfront about it during these scenes, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, just like the other girl's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, I bet you are. Like, did you fuck my husband? And she's like, No. Like there's this like,
Like-
are you gonna hurt me kind of vibe to her.
Oh, dude, I got scared when she's like, take off your bun, let your hair out. Why? Because I'm asking you nicely and you slept with my husband. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I feel like I wanted more at the bookstore though, like those occult books and everything, like in the little statue. Those kind of felt like red herrings. Like we never really got anything on that.
They were the definition of MacGuffins. Like they were the Hitchcock definition of MacGuffins, which kind of makes me mad because I actually like had they gone in a more cult direction and then like I think it would have been a better film personally. It would have made sense with the idea of like because I do like building a house, an exact replica but opposite of the house to confuse the demon. Again, could have been like a cool cult things. I feel like there was part of I don't know much about cults and a cult. I'm sure there's something in there about that could have been further explored and more satisfying in this movie.
I've been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. You make more money as a leader, but you have more fun as a follower. That's from The Office. It's one of my favorite Creed quotes. Oh boy. But yeah, I think taking a cult direction would have been a little smarter. I think this whole nothing demon was a cop-out.
Yeah, and it wasn't very satisfying, to be honest with you.
Mm. Sarah Goldberg is Claire, Beth's best friend. Goldberg was in The Dark Knight Rises, The Report, and the HBO series Barry, among other things. And she's not bad. Good friend. I liked when she just jumped into the water to save Beth at the end. That's what a good friend would do.
Yeah. She was good. It was kind of weird because like the main time she kept shutting Claire down on stuff, like Claire, stop talking about. I was like, are they building it up that maybe she's like part of some like cult again? Is she part of some cult? Because she doesn't seem to really like her digging into her husband's stuff, even though she's finding out her husband's possibly a cheater and all that stuff. But it was like, no, just a concerned friend. I was like, oh, okay.
It did look like that. It did look like they were going in that direction, that she had some kind of like knowledge about what was going on, that she might have been involved. And it did look like she was pressing Beth to just like leave it alone. Don't get involved. But in the end,
nah, she clearly was just not wanting her friend to potentially find out her husband was a cheater.
Vondi Curtis Hall plays Mel, Beth's neighbor. Curtis Hall played reporter Ben Urich on Netflix's Daredevil, and also appeared in the films Broken Arrow, Falling Down, Romeo and Juliet, and he had a lead role in the medical drama Chicago Hope. And this dude just casually saying like, oh yeah, I saw your husband like covered in bruises and mud after, going into the woods with a brunette and coming back alone. But I just left it.
Yeah, his whole thing was like, well, he asked me not to say anything. I was like, if I saw my neighbor go into the woods with a woman that's not his wife, come back without said woman, not his wife, I'd be like, maybe I should call the cops because this is strange.
But then for the guy to break down and be like, no, it's okay. I'm only going to do it this one time. Dude, you are like neighbor of the fucking year to just be like, well, if it's just this once, like,
if it's only this one time, I'll let it go.
Yeah, like, but not every day, you crazy kids.
I swear to God, if I see you come down this path again,
we all commit one murder in the woods. I mean, come on, who hasn't? But more than one. I mean, you're getting into crazy territory there.
Yeah, you don't want to do 3. Jesus Christ.
That was so weird. The guy to just be casual, like, I told him I'd never tell you this, but giant revelation about your life.
Yeah. I told him I'd never tell you. Even when he's dead, I would still not tell him because apparently he had hold on him in death.
I thought he was going to be revealed to be like the fucking ringleader or something.
Yeah, again, leading into possible like cult, which I actually was like expecting, even because of the way he went to go save her at the end. Friend jumps in the water. This guy just casually walking down the stairs. Like he did not run down. I was like, I know you're old, but Jesus Christ, dude, you're looking like it's just another day.
Well, and in a world where your neighbor just murders women in the woods and you're kind of complacent, maybe it is just another day for this guy. We call that an accessory, my friend.
Ah, she's finally killing herself after I told her the secret that her dead husband told me not to tell.
Speaking of dead husband, Evan Jonakite plays Owen, Beth's complex husband. He played Toad in X-Men Days of Future Past and also appeared in Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and Bone Tomahawk. And we don't get a lot of this guy, obviously, because he's dead. But the moments we do get are fairly misleading as to who this guy is. And it's mostly him playing the demon. Nothing, as he's called.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this actor because, yeah, when he plays Nothing, it's clearly not his voice. It's like someone else voicing the Nothing. So I'm like, yeah, he's in the movie. He's there. Doesn't do a lot.
Nothing. They couldn't make it, like death or the devil or any number of demons. They just went with like a general nothing.
It's like they watched Supernatural and they're like, oh, hey, we really like the nothing that was represented here. Let's just do that. Except Supernatural made that way more interesting.
Yes. I was thinking about that the whole time. Like, this is the fucking empty. Oh.
Yeah, that would have been interesting had they actually just went ahead and done like death.
Yeah, made sense. You escape death. You can't escape death. Death wants his.
Right. I mean, it's not like that's new territory. Final Destination did it for 5 fucking movies.
Yeah. Another thing that turned up on Supernatural quite often. Death wants his.
Yeah, Death was a character. So, yeah, they easily could have done it. Especially with the way Nothing is presented. They could have done Death.
Yeah. In fact, I would have gone a little further and just presented Death with a gift of random junk food from some Midwest state. And then you would just be fine. That was my favorite little touch in Supernatural, that Death loved not like regional junk food. Like when Dean summoned him and he's like, I bring to you fried pickles. And Death's like, you got 10 minutes. I love that show.
That was such a good show. I was very sad when it ended.
I know, but I know a lot of fans were upset, but as far as I'm concerned, that show stuck the landing, and I enjoyed that last season.
I thought look, obviously, that last 600 episodes were very much like filmed during the height of the pandemic, but unlike The Walking Dead season 10 bonus 6 episodes, they pulled it off. Like they actually wrapped the story up, made it work, and yeah, I thought they stuck the landing. And Josh can make fun of Supernatural all he wants. It's a fantastic show that stuck the landing.
He's not a fan.
I don't think he's that big of a fan. No.
Too cheesy pie for him.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll just make sure to get like the 15 season Blu-ray set and just watch it a lot around him.
Well, for a show that went 15 seasons, obviously you're never going to please everybody when it ends. But the fact that it made me sob harder than I've cried in years, that to me proves this meant something to me. So
there was a hole in my heart when I watched that. I was like, oh man, it's really over. I'm not watching this anymore.
Well, let's not say that. I've already resumed a rewatch. I'm in the middle.
Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, like no more new episodes. Not like a weekly thing I got to look forward to and watching and being a part of my life. Like it's the end of the road. The storyline is finished.
I'm not so sure about that either. I think once Walker gets canceled and Soldier Boy gets killed on The Boys, I'm sure they'll both go back to CW with a pitch.
I don't think so. I think if anyone would, it would be Jared Padalecki. But from what I hear, Walker's doing just fine. So it'll probably be on for a while.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Who'd have thought? I honestly I could see him coming back if anything happened. I don't see it with Jensen Ackles because from what I've understood, like that guy's been offered shit ton of stuff, but he kept saying no supernatural. So like clearly agents and Hollywood has had their eye on him for a while. I think now that he's freed up from supernatural, we'll see him do a lot more different stuff. And I think so. I am willing to think Soldier Boy and the Boys is going to be the tip of just like the tip of the iceberg, or a small, minute thing of what we're really about to get from him.
We'll see. We'll see. Frankly, I feel like a 16th season or a reboot or whatever would tarnish the ending and really kind of take away from the like what it meant. So I mean, where do you go after fighting God himself?
I honestly don't. I don't, just because they've been so good with the fans, I don't see them wanting to bring it back.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The Night House has an IMDb score of 6.9, Rotten Tomatoes score of 85%, which I think is pretty generous. It's grossed a little under 3 million so far. Highlights. Let's talk highlights. There's a moment that got under my skin, and it's when Beth has had a few too much to drink, and she lays down on Claire's lap to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, like it's the whole damn house like vibrates, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
That I'll give him credit. Like that's what I'm talking about when I said like Bruckner had such good control and like scares. That scene in particular, like that whole entire sequence, because I remember jumping. Like I'll admit, I fucking jumped because I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, this is really nice. Oh god, I was like, and it doesn't let up. Like when the girl runs from behind her and that fucking sting with the music, and yeah, oh god, this was honestly like a really well done creepy scene.
That, and then the other scene where she's in the bathroom and she like can touch something and she holds it and she's like, Owen, and it goes, no.
Yeah, it tells her I'm not Owen. I was like, oh no.
I got little goosebumps on that one.
Yeah, that gave me goosebumps. I did like some of the scenes they did of like before you find out its name, right? And you kind of see it in the background. It's like that human outline shape.
Mm-hmm.
At one time when she's like walking in her basement, I think, and like she kind of takes a step back and she's like, what's that? And you just see it like look at her. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, sorry. So we learned through this movie that Owen was plagued by this demon who was like, hey, I want your wife. Like, hey, buddy, I want your wife. She escaped death long ago. And instead of just moving on to one of the other billions of people who have died since then, I want her specifically.
It's really fixated on her. All because of a quick throwaway story that said like what in the first 30 minutes of the film about when she like died for 4 minutes as a teenager. Yeah. And she said like there was nothing.
Well, that's such a cop out. Be like his name is nothing. That's stupid. Sorry. A little blunt, but it is. I did think that was kind of stupid.
No, yeah. I didn't really. I was not satisfied with his name and all that stuff.
So let's go through this thing's thought process real quickly. We were talking a little bit about this before we started recording. It was just so weird. So Owen is told by this demon that's whispering in its ear, I want your wife and you're going to give her to me. So this guy goes to an occult bookstore, reads up on demons, and learns that he can trick demons by trapping them in mazes, I guess. So he decides to go build a mirror image of his house in the woods. And frankly, that thing looked like a small garage. It did not look the same size as the house.
No, not.
Like a clubhouse almost.
Yeah, really tucked away in the woods.
Yeah. And in order to appease this thing, this guy, this demon who has been fixating on Beth for like 15, 20 years, can apparently be tricked into taking any brunette with similar features.
Yeah,
And-
and like I said, I don't know why I got so like. Don't get me wrong, Rebecca Hall is a beautiful woman, but like to be fixated on this one person for 15 years.
It's
Come on,
just
dude.
weird. Well, then for Owen to just be like, well, I don't want it to take my wife, so I'm going to kill so many women. Like brutally, like not like a gunshot in the back of the head or anything humane. I'm going to strangle these chicks and then like bind them up to look like tortured souls and then feed them to this nothing demon who is going to realize it's not her every time. Which means your evil plan ain't working, Owen. It didn't work even one time because you had to do this like 15, 20 times.
Yeah, I was like, at what point did he not think to maybe try to change it up? Because it
Like-
wasn't working.
Yeah, nothing on day one's going to be like, that's not her. He's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it is. See, brunette, hot. He's like, I know Beth. I watched her die. I know what she looks like. That's not Beth. Like, you know, this conversation happened so many times. And every
Yeah.
time the guy's like, again, I told you, that's not her. Stop fucking with me. That's not her.
I think like after the fifth time, he's like, okay, look, I'm going to give you another try here. Okay, if you keep doing this shit, Owen, you won't have a problem. Okay, I'm not coming over here to play Xbox with you. I want your goddamn wife.
I was Owen, I'd get pissed and just one time give him a blonde. And he'd just be like, fuck you, Owen. I'm not taking this one. I'm not doing it. This one's on you. That's your prince, asshole. It's just,
What if the true story is the budding relationship between this demon and Owen? It's,
like this dude becomes like Owen's wingman, helping him score brunettes.
yeah.
And then like in the end, he's like, you know what? The real treasure was the friendship we made along the way, Owen. We're cool.
After like the 10th time, he's like, you know what? You want to just go play some video games? I'm tired.
It's like, you've made me love, Owen. Go be with your wife. It's just ridiculous. You know that some of these conversations happen where he's like, that's not the brunette I asked for. Every time, you know who I want. I don't know why I'm even using you. I'm an all-powerful demon. Why don't I just go fucking kill her?
Look, Mr. Nothing, you asked for brunette, hot, female. I've given you this. I don't see the problem. The whole time she's like, you're forgetting the part where I said your wife, the one you're married to. I didn't hear that part, Mr. Nothing. I didn't.
Oh yeah? You didn't hear me? Well, hear this. Go shoot yourself in a boat, asshole.
You think what he did, Mr. Nothing, just went, wait, no, I wasn't being serious. Like, no, I've just lost my friend. He got actually like really sad.
It starts looking for like backup friends. Like, Mel, you don't know me, but you want to score some chicks? I like brunettes. You like brunettes? Mel.
Larry, Mary.
Oh my God. It introduces so many like weird situations. Like, yeah, I just it was an odd direction to take the film in and just made this demon look kind of stupid, kind of goofy. Like, I don't know. And of course, you know, it is all supposed to be a metaphor for grief. So did this even happen? Was she just losing it?
Yeah, that's the weird part. I think honestly, had they should have dropped the grief metaphor, have the storyline of like she's still grieving, obviously, over her husband. That's fine. I think had they gone in something more occult, something like that, I think this would have been a better film. Because like I said, the MacGuffins were there for some kind of creepy ass cult.
My biggest issue is when she finds the many, many bodies under the floorboards of the second house, tries to call her friend one time, and then just completely lets it go. Never brings up the fact that there's a dozen bodies in a house in the woods that her husband killed.
Right? What if Mel was at her friend's house? Just man, don't answer. It's her. Don't answer. It'll be more funny if you just let it go to voicemail.
Mel shows up at the house like, your husband never wanted me to tell you this, but he murdered about 20 women in that house. Just honoring a dead man's wish, Beth.
Yeah.
Kept telling me a demon wanted him to do it. I didn't take much stock in that. Just shows up and just tells the whole goddamn movie.
He just shows up at her school one day because it's established she's a teacher. She just shows up in the middle of her class. Her husband killed people, Beth. Just really need to get that off my chest. I made a promise to a dead man, but seeing as he's dead, I guess I can say it.
Yep. As we all know, promise is null and void when the other party kicks the bucket. Yeah. With that in mind, my first wife did cheat on me many times. Told me to keep it a secret. He just can't stop telling secrets.
He just lets it all out finally.
I'm free, goddammit. I give this thing a 7. I was on board for a bit. There's some creepy moments, but the whole angle of the demon and just ignoring the husband's crimes, justifying that, to save his wife, he murdered a dozen women, and that's totally cool. No.
Killed a lot of women that are now playing, I guess, volleyball with nothing or the fuck he does in his spare time. He's not just fixated on one hot brunette, No, I gave it a 7. I think I remember I texted her. I was like, it was an 8 for me up until that fucking ending. Cause I thought Rebecca Hall really carried this movie. The scares, Bruckner really showed to me some real skill and craft with the scare scenes. But that ending with it hammered home the theme of grief, but plot wise, no. I'm just there going, well, wait, we're not. I mean, if her husband couldn't beat this fucking thing, you think by you just not committing suicide and finally being over your grief, it's going to go away? It's been fixated on you for 15 years and watched you in numerous situations, both appropriate and inappropriate, for 15 goddamn years. I don't think you not killing yourself is going to beat it there, Beth. And then there's the whole thing with you're fucking your husband and murdering a lot of women. Yeah. The ending does try home the theme, but it just plot wise really kind of muddles shit up big time.
Yes. And that's where, for me, that's the deal breaker. Once you start fucking with the plot, I'm out.
Yeah. So that's why I say it wasn't anything at the end, and it's a 7. I won't take away from Bruckner's skill or Rebecca Hall's performance, but that ending just didn't like it. I don't think I felt this way since watching Signs.
Damn, that's a whole new discussion because I fucking love Signs.
I know, but I'm definitely on that fence of the twist ruining the movie for me.
They could swap them. Maybe Mel Gibson murdered a whole bunch of brunettes and this demon's allergic to water. It just falls in the lake and is burns up like the red virus at the end of Osmosis Jones.
What's sad, because of Noah Gibson's very public downfall there, the swap makes fucking sense, unfortunately.
At the risk of a slander lawsuit, I will say that I'm gonna word this carefully. If a story came out that Mel Gibson had killed a few hookers, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I was pre that, I'd be I can't see that. But after what happened with good old Mel Gibson there, yeah.
Oh, what a wacko. Thanks for listening, everyone. Sorry about the less than great output this weekend, but it's not to us. It's whatever the weekend gives us. It's the movie release calendar. It giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah, hopefully next weekend with Candyman, we'll be firing on all cylinders with a nice, good episode for you guys. Because I know we are, I know for the two of us, I'm going to say the whole film as a team, we're pretty excited for fucking Candyman.
Yeah, this is big. We were supposed to get this last year. We did not. And here we are, finally. Candyman, the long-awaited sequel from Nia DaCosta, looks creepy as shit. Very much a direct sequel to the first film and a worthy successor, it seems like. So hopefully that is going to be good.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to watching the original in time for it.
Yes, indeed. We also get the Ted Bundy FBI drama No Man of God and the Hulu comedy Vacation Friends. So it sounds like a good weekend, potentially. Just 3 movies. That's manageable.
3 movies, and all 3 actually look pretty good to me. So I will probably go on my way to watch all 3 of these.
Also, don't miss the original Candyman on Wednesday's Filmgazm podcast and a Best Picture showdown on 1946's The Best Years of Our Lives on Oscar Sunday. Have a great week and keep watching movies.